And thank you everyone for joining us on the Lancaster Score workshop today on effective email strategies. And we really do want to help you grow and promote your business like a rock star. I understand that everyone is in different places with their email marketing. So hopefully these strategies will help you take where you are and take you to the next level. And let's start jumping into the workshop. First, I want to thank you all for joining today. I know you're all busy and this is particularly at lunchtime. So thanks again, and let's jump in. Who am I? Just a little bit about me, because I think the material is so important and meaty, but I want you to understand where I come from. I'm a consultant and a virtual CMO. It means I help people outside of the work environment to help them grow and be their virtual stand-in, so to speak, when it comes to building businesses. And I focus on online business development and all the online platforms. I'm a certified partner for Constant Contact and for MailChimp as well. I'm certified inbound marketing specialist, which means we help to pull people in as opposed to pushing out to people all the time. So when you hear the term of email marketing, I know in a lot of small businesses, it creates this big bubble that just keeps growing and they won't, it turns into a big gnarly mess. So I'm really curious about what it means to you. Is it something you want to venture in but are afraid? Is it something you look at and immediately get overwhelmed? Is it, you know, I wear so many hats and I have so much, I don't have so much time anymore. Where are you when it comes to email marketing? And if you chat that in to Kathy, she can pop in every now and then so I can make sure to hit on specific things that might be helpful for you. I do know some people that are coming into business now and some that have maybe their businesses have stalemated a little bit. Look at email marketing and go, it's an outdated thing. It's all about social media, WhatsApp, Instagram, and that's not really the case. Email marketing has held its own for decades now. I was involved with email marketing from the get-go, and I've seen how it can help small businesses take control of the levers for their business. So we'll jump in and show you how to start making that happen. Sorry, using a new system today. So there we go. So just so you have an idea of the agenda today, the 5 most important stats, and I know a lot of people get inundated with stats and what they mean and who to believe, but I want to give you the 5 that'll help you understand and drive the strategies for that. And then the foundational elements that you need to have within your email marketing and to get started successfully in email marketing. Then we'll jump into the strategies, and then we'll go into the resources that I have for you. Just because you're with SCORE here today and on this workshop, I put together a page of free resources for you, and we'll get to that at the end. I'll give you the link, and you're more than welcome to go and grab those. So here are some really big, powerful numbers. And right now, on their own, standing here, they're not going to mean much to you, but we'll get into each one of them. But they're very powerful numbers when you look at them. 68% is a big number. 760% is also a very big number. 90 days you can convert somebody. $42 and 62%. So let's start looking at what those mean. So 47 to 68%. This, I wanted you to see that email marketing is the most effective marketing channel that there is. This is the only one where you get to control the levers of who's coming in to your business, how to drive it, how to grow those relationships. When you look at outside of that, all of your social media channels that are out there, think about the algorithm changes. Here's something even more relevant. How about a few weeks ago when Facebook was down? There were a lot of people that had ads going out. There were people that were running specific campaigns and doing specials. A lot of people were inundated with problems with that because of that. And Instagram and all of those get affected by these all the time. The other things are the algorithm changes, right? They decide their whole important goal, as everyone all knows, social media is to keep people on that specific platform. So they will change the algorithms and show and not show content to people unless you start paying. And even then, you're not guaranteed the right set of eyeballs. So when it comes now to who's actually looking at emails, 47% now are now on mobile. You see people on the phones all the time, and that's what they're doing. When you have your email mobile marketing set up properly, you're capturing people where they are. It also just went over the 50% percentage point, meaning almost half, even a little bit more, are now accessing email via their mobile. The problem is 1 in 5 marketers are not using email marketing properly for mobile and not designing that way. So when you start being aware of how your customers are using technology, how they're being involved and connected to you, will help you make your emails a little bit more successful. Here's our very big number, 760%. That's the amount of when you use segmentation and tags. And we'll get into that because that's one of your very key strategies. For those of you that use an email system today, most of them will use segments and or tags. We'll get into the definition of what they are, but when you use them effectively, you can grow your revenue by as much as 760%. Segments and personalization come in many forms, but they're equally successful. And this number shows you that one of our strategies is a great one to follow. 90 days, very key effective measure. When someone first joins your list, that's the most aware and connected and engaged with you that they will most likely ever be. So your job as a marketer is to take advantage of that. Most email marketing tools will allow you to set up series for that. But think about the concept of that. 90 days you have to get somebody in and to start cementing your brand, start to cement your narrative with those people so that they can stay connected to you going forward, and all of your other efforts are way more effective. $42. For every dollar you spend on marketing, it returns on your investment $42. Your other social media doesn't do that. On any good day, you can put something out on Instagram if you're doing it effectively and get some return on that, but you won't see it consistently and you're not at control of that. You don't have the data behind it. With email marketing, you can. Oh, went backwards. Sorry about that. All right, our next big number is 62.5%. 62.5%. That's the amount of people that are, 1, inactive on any given list at any given time. People might see that as a bad number, but 1, that's an indicator of not effectively using their email. And 2, it's such a tremendous opportunity of how you can re-engage and reinvent some of your narrative for these people to become involved and get engaged with you. It's also the average number of sales that were driven by email and the deals the customer received after that Thanksgiving window. So if you're effectively using your email during the holiday season, it will seriously drive your revenue, because that's when people are looking for deals. They're looking for ideas. They're looking for last minute items. So that's a really huge number, and email delivers that for you. So before we get to the top 7 strategies, there are some things that you need to have that are foundational elements. And for them to be truly effective, you need to know your audience. You need to know what kind of outcome, what your goal is, and you have to be willing to commit. Now, knowing your audience, and I understand this from a small business perspective. I get answers as, I serve everyone. I don't really know what my customers are because I get different people that are in through my door or different people online. I don't really know who to serve. And the other ones are so super niched in that they don't look at the opportunities that are around them. Think about yourselves as you go through your cycle in life, right? You have children, you buy homes, you have to be an empty nester. There's all of these hills and valleys that you go through as a consumer. So do your clients and your prospects. So knowing where they might be going is also advantageous to be able to take advantage of some of the segmentation and tags, right? So we'll get into that, but knowing your audience, and I'm not saying, please, I have to add this, that you have to know everything about all of your audience right now. That's not it at all. All of your email campaigns can be for a specific group of people. They don't have to go out to everyone. We'll dive into that. Knowing your outcome, your goal for each email that you send should have a goal. Most people don't have that. I have to promote whatever it is, and then they just send out a blast to everyone. When you target it by your audience, it helps you become more effective. And also be willing to commit. And I'm not saying commit a lot of time. I am saying commit to the process and using email effectively. So before I jump into the next set of strategies, is there any questions that we have so far? Anything, Kathy, that people want to know about before I jump in?
So the one question that came in is that they want to know using their distribution list to tell people about the business. How do you effectively use your distribution list? And if you're going to cover that, that would be great.
Using their distribution list, you mean the email list that they already have?
Uh-huh.
Yes, we'll be going over all that because that's one of the strategies in using the segments and tags. Okay. All right, so hopefully we can further elaborate on that if I don't hit what folks are looking for.
Okay.
All right. So the top 7 that we'll get into, I wanted to present them here at high level because each one of them, it's important to understand doing each one by itself is effective, but each one of these strategies builds upon the previous one. So your very first one out of the gate is getting right and committing to a consistency and a timing. Most people who join or start an email, they're not consistent, meaning they don't send one a week or one a month. They send it whenever they feel like it, or whenever the mood strikes, or whenever, you know, the feast or famine hits and you've got to get money in through the door. When you're consistent, and that could mean every Tuesday I just send out a motivational thing, or every Wednesday is my promotion day. Having that type of schedule really helps people anticipate certain types of emails. So that's what you're trying to do, is gather up the attention and the behaviors of and creating some action for your audience. The second one is design. And I'm not talking about aesthetics necessarily. There's a lot of elements that go behind design. But when you put some more of your effort behind design, you'll make a more effective email. The third one is automation. I'm quite sure those of you that are on email systems today or email platforms, you will see that there are different ways to automate, which is brilliant in my view, because it allows your email service to go and work for you while you're not even touching it. And it can deliver information about your emails while you're not actively involved with your email. We'll go over how to take advantage of that. Data and behavior. One of the things related to automation, and it's where most of your email service providers are headed, is working together with data and capturing behavior information about your consumers, your prospects, your leads, everything. So think about Facebook. Most of you have Facebook. And when you go to the ad manager, you can see some high level information about who your followers are, the age groups, things like that. What your email marketing will help you start to do going forward, and which is why it's important to have these other elements in front of it, is it will start helping you better understand your consumers and being able to use the automation because of that. The fifth one is, excuse me, segments and tags. We touched upon that before, and it's how do I group my lists so effectively so that I can start targeting and emailing them specifically and doing deals information just about where they are in their cycle along the way. The sixth one is personalization and dynamic content. Again, with all the new features coming out, personalization and not just saying, hi, Frank, hi, Sally. It's new ways for you to be able to personalize those emails. The last one, which is really key, and it really allows you to go to that next level, but you can't do it effectively until you get those other 6 strategies done, is really creating a user experience. You're in charge of the narrative now. When you have email marketing and you have other platforms, you're the one that gets to tell the story. You're the one that gets to impact your audience based on how you're interacting across the platforms. What that does is allowing your users to engage with you wherever they are in their specific process. There's so many ways that you can gamify, you can create it interactive, you can get people to tell the story, you can source content from your readers. The more engaged they are with you, the better it is to, the easier it is to start creating content and sharing emails across the board that aren't necessarily about promotion. So let's dive into the first strategy, consistency and timing. Most people have seen stats where it said Tuesdays are best at 11 o'clock, don't send out Sundays at 9 o'clock. All those different kinds, you'll see them across the board. First off, when you start sending emails, what you're going to do is send them at different times, different days, because you need to understand about your consumer. What they've been finding out lately, especially from the pandemic, is the best time, because most people are online, is from 8 o'clock on. Saturdays are a key day for shopping. Thursday nights are a key day for shopping. So it depends on who you are, what you're selling, and what you're trying to accomplish. So consistency and timing, you have to be involved with your email in the beginning to start seeing where is a good thing to settle. Flip side, you can also set those standards for yourself, meaning you can set up every Monday, it's going to be this type of email. Every Thursday, it's going to be this type of email. Every Sunday, it might be this type of email. By you doing that type of calendaring and creating that type of content and timing, you're establishing the expectation of your list and the people that follow you. And that's the goal, right? You're setting the expectations of what people can know to receive from you. And you're going to teach them how to look forward to what you're sending. Any questions about consistency and timing? Okay. Oh, okay. One of the things I wanted to mention was about setting a calendar. Most of the email tools now have a calendar function in there, but I highly recommend everyone using a calendar for their communications so that you can time and coordinate your emails with your social media and going further. So for the holidays, there's a holiday calendar when you start priming your audience, getting people involved. If you're doing a launch, when's the best thing to just start warming up your audience, keeping in touch with them, because you don't want to blast people out of the gate if you haven't used your email in a long time or consistently over time, it's best to set up a calendar and set up some specific emails and things to go out to people. Strategy number 2, which is the big one, which is design. Your design is not just about something that's overly graphic. Now, there have been changes recently by Apple and some of the other platforms where people will open up their emails. And each email has a little pixel at the top. You can't see it, nobody else can see it, but what it does is show your platforms who's opened the email. The other thing that happens is some of the tools, mainly Apple, but some of your other platforms won't open images. So if you have an image-laden email and people have selected for privacy reasons, space reasons, operational reasons, not to open images, no one's going to see your images. So it's key to have a name for what that image is, right? You want to cause people to go and find whatever it is because you want them to see what you're missing. Emails used to be long. They used to be very pretty. They don't have to be that way anymore. You can create conversational emails that look just like an email that you send from Gmail or anywhere else, like a personal email. You can make it text-based. Sometimes that comes across as one-on-one and having that conversation and that type of relationship. You can use a variety of them. It's important to be strategic about that, correct? You want to be able to engage with your customers on a visual level, video level, text level, conversational level. It's important that you're talking one-on-one and having that active voice. The size of your emails shouldn't be that long. What happens is the first chunk of the email is what most people see. And it's going to be your subject line that leads to that preview, that leads to that first chunk. And if you're not using that ladder effectively, your emails won't get clicked. So here's part of the issue, right? We all know, hopefully we all know, that open rates are not a reliable rate to tell you how effective your email is, because that's not always reported. Some people see your email preview and decide not to go on any further. People used to create that fear of missing out, that FOMO subject line, but not put that meaty information until way at the bottom. People won't go that far anymore. They don't have that patience. So what you have to do is that key subject line, because you really want to get people inside of the email. The goal is to make them click somewhere. Why do I want them to click somewhere? As we'll see in the next strategy, you're going to want to be able to segment and tag people based on their behavior, what their interests are, where they're located, what's important to them right now. That's why your design is really important in what you're doing. But it's very simple. I don't want you to get overwhelmed. Next one is automation. As I mentioned before, almost all of your email platforms, and you'll hear the term ESP, email service provider, can be any platform, and that could be MailChimp, Constant Contact. There's many of them that are out there. Any one of them have a different set of automation tools. Things that fall into automation tools could be autoresponders. You have a welcome, some of them will automatically set up a welcome email and an anniversary or a birthday email. Most of your CRM systems have that as well. When it hits to be a certain date, shoot somebody an email. When you do this effectively within your email system, you can now create a series from that. When you're sending, you can surprise people with different bonuses just because they've joined a list. And what you're doing is, we've mentioned before about that first 90 days, right? You set up an automation where it's the welcome, and then a day later, it could be, so how's it going? Here's a coupon if you haven't checked out my store. And getting people to click, you'll be able to start to know some of this information. Going forward, Automation is going to get way more sophisticated and allow you to do more things. Some of your platforms like Constant Contact will allow you to put up to 30 emails in a series. There are tools like ConvertKit or Drip where you can have whole separate series of automated tools just based on their behavior. So when they sign up for a list and you put a link or two in there, they click here, it goes down this funnel. If you click another link, it goes down another funnel. Automation is going to be a very powerful tool. So hopefully at this point you can understand that there's a lot of power behind email marketing. Being consistent allows you to create better design to get more people engaged and involved, allows you to put in more information and more automation, which allows you to collect more data and behavior information. Why is that important? Because that'll allow you to get to strategy number 5, which we'll talk about in a second, segments and tags. But your data and behavior, this part typically overwhelms most small businesses because there is a lot of information behind that. What your tools will allow you to do going forward is many of them now allow you to connect with Facebook and Instagram. You can set out your email, send out a separate post for social media in any of the forms, send that out. You can have them link to the email or sign up for the email or see a piece that you highlighted within an email. There are different ways to capitalize on each audience, and you will get that behavior information within inside your email platform. And segments and tags. So coming into segments and tags, any questions so far? So Kathy had brought up about your distribution list, right? So your email list is one of the most important things and the most important assets you will ever have. This email list can allow you to segment people, to tag them based on behavior, to learn how to best bring in income. One of the candy stores that I have done an email system for, they use their emails to start to funnel people into products that they need to move. They use it to gauge how much inventory they need to have for specialty items. They make items during certain times of the year. So rather than guessing that they should have, 1,000 units of something, now they can start to gauge what the interest is in an upcoming product. Segments and tags allowed them to understand what kind of chocolate they liked, whether they liked caramel versus marshmallow, started collecting all of this information so that emails could be segmented just to those individuals who liked dark chocolate, and then dark chocolate with fillings, or milk chocolate or gummies, right? It allowed them to create all of this. So when you have one big list, but you treat that one big list as all the same type of entity, it doesn't allow you much in the way of growing your business or growing your business as exponentially as you can. I've also received the question about buying lists versus growing them organically. And I think this is a good place to touch on that. I don't recommend buying a list. As I've mentioned before, I'm a inbound marketing specialist. I like to get people to come to the business. And I think when you're building your email, that should be your goal. The reason why purchase lists don't work is most of the people that are signing up into that, I don't want to use the word scammed because that's not really a good word in this instance. They're saying on whatever platform is, I want more information on X. They signed up at this one particular place, but what that place is a conduit for somebody to collect all this information, make you pay to buy it. And all of that information and those people have not been vetted, right? Do you understand? So that when now they're getting an email from you, they don't know who you are. You can get marked as spam. The more you get marked as spam or I did not request this email, dings and lessens your chances for successful emails. So do we have any questions specifically about that? Because I know a lot of people really want to purchase email lists or have purchased them and are not necessarily seeing the results. So if Kathy, over time, people ask questions about that.
There isn't any questions in the chat, but all of you that are watching, please feel free to do that. I will ask a question on this one. Is it a lot of manual effort to develop segments and tags, or can some of that be done automatically?
A lot of it can be done automatically. So what you do is, if you create a lead generation form, that's the form like on most sites where it says, sign up for my email list, you'll get this checklist. As soon as they sign up, you can segment them to know that they came from your website for this particular promotion, and you can tag them to say that they were interested in this type of checklist, right? So when they click, they can get a tag, right? So a lot of that is automated, and there are things behind the scene where it can be manual, where you might want to tag certain types of people, but now you want to roll all of those people into a segment. Some of that takes manual work, but most of it is automatic. You set it up when you're setting up your email or your lead generation form.
Thanks.
Okay.
There is a question about strategy 4 because you went through it fast. So maybe you can come back to that after you get through the 7 or whatever you decide.
Okay. So back to your segments and tags, right? Again, as we were building on each of those pieces of information, your segments and tags will now allow you to start to do more dynamic content and more personalization. Hold on, my slides aren't moving. Let's see if we can. Sorry about that. All right. So strategy 6 is personalized and dynamic content. So if you think about, as we're building along, now we're collecting this information based on how people are interacting with my emails. Am I sending them out the right time? Am I sending them out consistency so people are used to seeing them? Am I creating the design properly that gets people to step through so I can get them into the email? Your whole goal is to get them from the preview, from the subject line, into the body of your email so they can click on something. Think about it this way. The average open rate, even though we've talked about how they're not reliable, is 15 to 20%, right? 15 to 20%. It's rarely higher than that. If it's higher and yours is higher than that, congratulations. That means you've got a highly tuned and focused, targeted list that want to stay involved with you. Your goal is to move into that range. Once you get people into that, so take 20% of your list size now, right? Once they're into your email, that's 5%. 2 to 5% is the industry average. It's closer to 2%. So only 2% of the people will click. You want to start driving more people into that email and more people clicking. The way you do that is by using personalized and dynamic content. Now, personalization isn't just a name, as I mentioned before. It's based on a location, based on an interest of one of your products or a type of your products, based on some of the demographic information, maybe what stage they're in. You might know within your industry, there are certain phases that people move through. The phase that people go through with interior design is completely different than real estate, right? So, you know, if you're an agent, somebody's going to buy your house, you might think that you don't have to stay in touch with them, but they're going to want to sell a house, buy a second home, remodel this home. There are a lot of things that you can stay involved with. Using this personalized and dynamic contact, which relies on the strategies and tags that we just talked about, which relies on the behavior of how our emails are going, now you can create some of that. Dynamic content allows you, and this is a really cool tool, you can create one email and put in a dynamic link, meaning one group of people will see one link, another one will see another link, depending on who they are. You can create a box and make it dynamic, which means only certain people will see that specific link. To put it in its easiest form, assume you have 3 stores. You can now create that one email, but have dynamic links just for those specific stores. And only those people will see that particular ad or banner or click to read more or click to look at a certain product, okay? All right, so our last strategy, which takes all of those things that we've been using or talking about, is experience. Now, you may have heard of UE, which is user experience, or UD, user design. I like to talk about it in terms of experience, because what you're trying to do is get people connected to you, right? You want them to look forward to your emails, to look forward to what you post. And I'm going to take a sidebar here. I know most people don't like to be out there like that, right? Maybe they think that that's too much of an extroverted tendency. But as a small business, no matter what type of person you are or what type of business you have, you can create that narrative. You can share certain things within your social media. You share certain things online on your blog or on your website. And now with your emails, you can tie all of that together. So how do you create experience? Experience is really fun now. And as I mentioned, lots of new features are coming along. You can gamify your emails. You can create more interactive emails. We'll touch on that in the next slide. You can really get creative on how you source information from your followers, and it's called crowdsourcing. You may have heard that term. You can just create certain type of contests for folks and feature them within your emails. And I wanted to get into some examples for you. The latest one you may have remembered or have seen is the Applebee's ad, where different people were sending in videos of them dancing to a song. Has anybody seen that? So what they've done was they put out the song and they told everybody to send into their social media pages videos of them dancing along, singing along to their song. What Applebee's turned around and did was created an ad. They used it within their emails. They used it as a contest of sorts. And now people get that exposure. Younger folks, younger generations are liking that, but everybody's getting involved with that type because your customers like that little bit of 15 minutes. So around that whole experience, you've got all kinds of things that you can do. Polls and surveys, you've seen them. Now the big thing is interactive quizzes, or, you know, what type of Christmas tree lover are you? And they answer a series of questions. They have to give you their email to get the answer, and then they get a result. And you can tell them, if you're a Christmas tree farm, you can tell them all about the different types of trees, what ornaments work, what ornaments don't. Quizzes are great for coaches, and different for interior designers use them to gain aesthetic. Crowdsourced content is really good. There's all kinds of things. You can have people demonstrate how they use a product or how they don't use a product. Way back, we're gone like 5, 6, maybe even more years than that. There is a gentleman that was showing how his blenders could crush up just about anything, right? There's different ways you can take the lead on how your product can be used, how to give people ideas, and your list gives other people on your list ideas. One of the other interesting things that some people use is Easter eggs. You may have heard of them in movies where they're little clues to what the next movie might be. I do believe Marvel uses them at times. But Easter eggs, you can have a contest where, you know, if you have a specific menu and you hide maybe a QR code or some type of clue to a puzzle, and people have to find a series of them and they win a prize. People love doing those kinds of things. You can put that within your emails as well, tie it into your website. Now you're driving traffic back and forth. You can also do it as reward for certain actions. You might have a random set of emails where the 5th time somebody opens, you send them a coupon, right? And now people are realizing they'll start to get to notice the patterns, the more involved that they get and more involved in opening. So there was a lot here in terms of experience. Do we have any questions about that? I'm going to open up at the end for more questions. So you don't specifically have to jump in now, but that's
okay right now.
Yeah, this is a lot of information right here. But the reason I put all of these here is I want you to understand your email is the driver of all this. You get to control it, right? You're going to work, your email works hand in hand with your social media and actually grows your business way more. So at the root of all of this, as we started in the beginning, it's about your audience. So each of these strategies helps you get more information so that you can more effectively communicate, more effectively grow your business. And that's the most important thing. And then to build audience of people that want to stay connected with you. And when you build that type of audience, now you've got higher open rates, higher click rates, higher ways of revenue to come in, because email marketing is the single most effective way for you to control the levers. You're in charge of this. This only goes down when you go down. It doesn't work when you don't work. You can set it up and go on vacation and have email marketing driving in business and income for you. So think about your audience, and when you segment them based on some of the information that we had above, right? You can set up a series of emails to different segments, different tagged people based on their interest, different emails that go out at different times, and you can watch which one of those audiences are more engaged, are more focused in on certain products or services that you had. Now you can focus more on that client for now. So one of my biggest things about audiences, I mentioned before, you may serve everybody, but if you're really intent on growing your business, pick one group and focus on that group and building the relationship with them. As you're building the relationship with them, you're creating your own micro influencers, right? Then as you've got that on automation and automated series, and you've got some personalization going on in there. And then you take your next group and you try maybe that same series with different language, different images, different formatting or design elements, and set that out to see how that works. And now you can start doing some of your comparisons, going back, circling back to that data and behaviors. You can now, by use of tags, by use of some of the AI, you can now start to really understand who is your most profitable group of business. Who are the ones to focus on now so that you can build more income, and then circle back to some of the other ones. Because some of your other audiences may be attracted to something you really love doing, but it's not as profitable. So it can be pulled off and created into something else. So understanding your audience, or if you're not quite sure, focus on building that email list now so that you can get more information about that. One of the things about AI, going back to the data and behaviors, some of your tools are coming out with AI, artificial intelligence, and what that does is connect with those that are on e-commerce. So people that have set up shopping carts, people that have abandoned shopping carts, people that have looked at a series of things, not purchased it, but maybe purchased something else, or they're constantly going through a certain pattern. Using those artificial intelligence tools, you'll be able to create new automation and new series for them. So hopefully I answered that question going back to the data and the behaviors part, because it really capitalizes on all of the elements and all the strategies that we had. All right. So now let me open up the floor. Any type of question that you have about email marketing, whether what type of tool, where you're at now, some of the challenges that you might have, anything is welcome here at this point. So let me open it for Q&A for everybody. So I'll give you some of the questions that I've had from folks, right? I'm sorry,
just
Kathy.
opening it up. Yeah, I'm opening it up for everybody. If you unmute yourself, you should be able to ask a question directly.
Okay,
And
just chime.
The one listed as owner, you had a question about strategy 4. Did you get your answer?
I hope they did. If not, just chime in.
Yeah. Okay.
So some of the questions that I get from people is, where do I start, right? And I'll go through people that are just starting, those that are trying to re-engage. So if you're just starting, your focus should be on, if you're on social media and you're more comfortable there, how do I get people from there onto my list? What can I give them? What can I do for them? How can I get them onto my email list? So theoretically, you should have a lead page or a landing page or a sign-up box everywhere. You should have it in your email signature, on your website, at the end of posts, right? So if you do a short post, have an email there for them to upgrade to get the PDF version and something else. If you sell Christmas trees, right? Have them sign up to get a tip sheet on what to do with the Christmas trees after, or how to get a special ornament if they come back this year to purchase their tree. Okay.
So one of the questions, yeah, there's one in here that says, any pointers on increasing deliverability?
Yes, so deliverability is a really big thing. So that's the importance of having a good, strong, clean list. That means having less people unsubscribe, less people comment or mention that you're spam or that they didn't want it. You have to deliver relevant content. The more you focus on content related to the people on your list, hence segmenting and tags, personalization and dynamic content, the more you have folks, your emails are focused around that, the stronger the engagement of your list, and then building that that way. Your other one is the tool that you use. So certain tools have a higher deliverability rate. Constant Contact is extremely high because they're very reliable service, and all of the things that are set up for that, very well known, and they're high deliverability. The other thing is credibility and who you're sending it to. So if you have an email list that are full of, let's say, generic type emails like info at, or, service at, those types of emails and who they're being sent to, the types of services, cleaning up your list that way also helps as well.
Thanks. Ed, did you have a question? I see you unmuted.
No, I didn't, Kathy.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Anybody else have a question?
Okay, then I have one for those of you that have an email service, you haven't really been too consistent with it, and people aren't necessarily engaged, or you have a list, you haven't really been involved, and now it's the holidays, which I highly recommend everybody get involved with right now, because everyone is having, all your bigger box stores and everything like that, you know, the supply chain issues that are out there, the product availability things that are out there. Now is your time to be able to step up and fill that gap, because you're a small business, you have products and services. You taking your email list that maybe just is inactive at the moment, re-engaging them, start connecting with them, just tapping into what's been going on, what you might be highlighting over the holidays, some of the things you're excited about for the new year, asking them questions or polls about what's of interest to them, what they're looking forward to for the holidays or the new year, even anybody over the pandemic yet, you know, things like that. You start just having conversational emails and start getting people involved where they're clicking, engaging, and answering things, starting to get them involved. Now it builds up your deliverability to one of them, but it also allows you that open door to start furthering the conversation and nurturing the relationship, which is all what email does. That's your key aspect of doing that. Constant contact is great at allowing you different methods of doing that. Your other email service tools do that as well, but you have to be involved with it.
Rand, there's a couple other questions here. One is on, does search engine optimization matter for email marketing? And the other question I'll relate to you is that, do you have any tips on writing for mobile reading?
Yes. Okay. So for the search engine ranking, one of them is, yes, it does help. And using your email to, as I mentioned earlier, where you tag your images, you're allowed, there's a field called alt tag, I believe. You would put in there what it is. You would put like your business name and something related to the image and some kind of hook, right? So when you think of your images, your taglines, your email subject lines, all of these are hooks to get people into more. So the search engine is, when you have your emails, they are actually archived. They are also shared. You can have some of that content online. The more you use the alt tags, you use keywords that are specific to your clients and the group of people that you're looking to reach. That also helps. What was that second question?
Any tips for mobile writing your emails for mobile reading?
Okay, mobile reading. The one thing that I forgot to say, in increasing the increasing deliverability, one of your really important things is the from line. You're allowed in most email platforms, specifically Constant Contact, you're allowed to put your name or your business at, you can customize that from line. The more that people know that it's from you and not just a robo email service, the better deliverability that you have. You'll also start to see, or you have seen, right, some spam emails come through. Hi, this is, you know, you want to, because you're creating this brand, you want to be able to make sure your from lines are there. So that's related to some of your other things. Increasing the readability for mobile. One, you want to keep your subject line shorter. You want to keep your paragraphs shorter. Use smaller words, not smaller in size, but you want to get your point across in the fewer amount of words, right? Because when you think of the size of, you know, your mobile screen, you want people to be able to see the key point that you're trying to address right there without having to scroll over, without having to scroll too much up and down. You want to get them, your whole goal is to take each small portion that they see on their mobile phone to make them scroll to the next one. So why do they want to scroll down to see the image or the video that's there? Keynote, they love watching videos and GIFs. I hope everybody knows what a GIF is, the GIFs that you can get that go on repeat, those little segments. But videos and GIFs are big. Images sometimes get blocked out. For the going back to the SEO, as I mentioned before, having the tags there really helps for that. but making that the mobile design small, simplified, your key point up front to get people to click as soon as they can click, and then getting some of your other highlight points underneath to encourage them to go down if you have things that are below that.
Thanks.
Any other question?
Anybody else have a question?
No? Okay.
I'm not seeing any other ones come in. Well, I
All right.
think today, Rayanne, you've given us some really great information. I'll let you finish up and
Oh, look at that. I went all the way up to the top. I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm having a problem with my slides here. So
okay.
I just wanted to wrap up, and I wanted you to understand that email marketing is your most effective tool that you have. And you've got your blocks. So by starting out and really focusing on your list, taking your social media platforms, if you have them, and getting them onto your list. If you don't yet have a strong social media presence, start focusing on your list. This works for B2B as well as B2C. Staying consistent and driving that message. Be in charge of what your customer expects. Using the automation tools that are out there, especially if you're just starting out, take really good use of the series that are out there. You can announce sales, you can, give specials to your new customers that have come on, people that are inactive, you can throw out coupons and different things to them to get them engaged and driving to an action. That's your goal. As we've been talking about, it's get them to that next step and getting them to click. It's all like hook and bait, right? People can see the hook with the bait dangling. You want them to actually get on that bait and take a bite of it. You're controlling the levers better with email marketing. And then your last few points are understanding that audience. And I can't stress that enough. There's so much power when you understand who is on your list. And when you tie that in with using your email platform to post, because you can use your email platforms to post to social media, to look and see the responses that you get, it really is a valuable tool in unifying everything that you have and truly understanding your customer. So use that technology to not only support you, but to support your audience and to get more information you can so that you can better sell to them. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I have a link for you. I created a page that has a bunch of tools on there for you. There's an email marketing planner on there, how to take some of your content if you're not quite sure what to create for your emails. There's some ideas in there. If you've got some holiday ideas, I have a planner there for you and how to use some sequences, right, for the autoresponders. The link here has an extra RE in it, so it's actually bit.ly/𝐿score_SOURCES. So score and resources are together. So 𝐿SCORESOURCES. So score resources, one word. And it's all there for you. I also wanted to let you know that if you don't have a tool, Constant Contact, this is the last day for their Black Friday special, and they're having 40% off for 4 months, I believe that is. And you can get that also if you wanted to check it out anyway. It's at bit.ly/score-deal40. So bit.ly/score-deal40. And for folks that aren't quite sure what that bit.ly is, it's a link shortener. So there are times where you might want to send somebody to something or display a link and your link is too long. This makes it a little bit easier. So I wanted to close and let you know that email is your greatest channel for your business and for your brand. And to really take your email to the next level, to use what you have and to grow that list. I have had too many clients that got to see how that really works. There were times for a couple of my businesses that sell products and services over the holidays had to shut their online ordering down because every time we sent out an email, there was a spike of at least 20 to 50% of people that were doing online orders. And this wasn't just during the pandemic. It just got to be so much volume that they had to turn it off. You don't ever want to have that position, right? To turn off money. Email marketing allows you to do that with everything that you have. So I want to thank you. I have some next steps, right? So go back to the that resource page that I had, 𝗤score resources, get what you can. And I want you to leave today and do something next. I want you to look at your list, see how you can grow it. Look at your list, see how you can reactivate it. Get started on doing something. Grab your resources and just reach out to me if you have questions at any time. I'm here to help you. I've been involved with email marketing for decades and I love it. And it's one of the best tools that keeps on working. So last chance for questions, but I want to thank you all for coming today. I want to thank you, Kathy, for having me on here. This is one of my passion topics and I just love it. And I really see an impact that email has on business and not having to rely on social media.
Well, thank you very much, Rayanne. On behalf of SCORE Lancaster-Lebanon, you gave us many good tips today, and we will make this available, as I said, to everyone present by video and presentation. So hopefully you all will walk away with some nuggets that can help you or help your clients improve their email marketing for an effective holiday season.